Hey, welcome back to the channel. So those of you who are up to date with all things Kindle Vella, you will know that they have finally released the platform back on July 13th, which is about 5 days ago. And with that release, we finally got some information on all the stuff that they're tracking and all the information that we've got. And so you'll see if you go to your Kindle Vella dashboard, you'll have an example of some of the items that they're tracking. So it includes things like episodes read, how much you've earned, reviews, follows, thumbs up, and of course you have the list of all your episodes that are available to read or are on the way. And then you can see that you have a nice little sorting method here. And then of course if you want to go back and track like earlier sales, you can go to like the last 7 days, which you can get a better picture of what you're working with. You can certainly go to this month. And there's a number of things you can do to make your life a little bit easier. So this is what we have available to us, and it's pretty good, I think. The other thing that's really nice is if you click on the View Royalties Earned chart, you can actually see a nice chart based on what you've learned or what's been read. And it's really just those two things. Nothing spectacular, but it's probably enough for a lot of people. And I would say that if I wasn't that interested in the platform or that interested in learning how I can improve my sales, or even just having a stronger, more robust way of tracking how things are going, then this would be enough for me. But it's not, because that's, it's fine, but it's not that much. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to introduce to you my Kindle Vella spreadsheet, tracking spreadsheet rather. Beta 3 is just released, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the new stuff that you can do with Beta 3, which I can tell you will be a lot more than what you can do from this. So let's go take a look. So over here on the Beta 3 spreadsheet, you'll notice that we made a few changes compared to last time. That's what you do when you go to a new update, so you change things. You'll notice that one of the things we've added is a new parameter called Republished as New Book. And what this does is when you write yes or no, it's going to update this republished date over here. So for now, we'll say it's no, because we didn't republish anything. And republish would be like when you take your Kindle Vella book and repurpose it as an ebook or a regular paperback under the 30-day rule that they allowed us to have from a few weeks ago. So if I were to say no, you'll notice it's not going to change anything over here. It's still not republished. But if I say yes and hit enter, what it's going to do is it's going to now put a timestamp. This is going to be the moment that it recognizes that we have a published book. Now, I actually meant to do this with just the date. I was testing it to see if I could get it to stop refreshing, and so I had to do some workarounds in order to do that, and I completely forgot that the timestamp itself was still on. So for this beta, you're going to get a timestamp. In the future beta, unless you want me to keep it as is, it's going to be just today rather than now timestamp, which, by the way, you can go back and fix it yourself if you want to. You just have to change this parameter now to today, and then you can do it the way it was meant to work. But anyway, this is going to be something where if you do publish it, I would suggest that you mark it published as yes on the day of your upload. Otherwise, it's going to record an inaccurate date. The other thing too is, if it gets really wonky, you can just override the parameter and write the correct date up in this little window, and then that'll be that. So it's not like you're stuck with whatever they give you. But if you want to keep it dynamic and you mess it up, you can always just go back to no, and it'll reset to not republish. And then if you say yes again at the right time or right day, it's going to refresh with the correct time, with the correct day. So it's not a big loss if you mess it up. That's how you fix it. But that's the new feature that we have, is that it's going to dynamically update the day that you post your book to online for all the people that you want to read to actually read it. So the next thing I did is, if you look up in this window here, and yes, it's a little more cluttered than it's been. I will probably be fixing that for Beta 4, because I do have plans for a brand new page for all the global stuff. But for now, because I don't have that yet, everything's kind of crammed onto this one page. But hopefully by now you've gotten a little used to how that's laid out. So hopefully it's not a big issue to look at, but I do plan to fix that for the next one. But one thing you'll notice that I've removed total faves from this page, and I've replaced it with total follows. The reason is because Kindle Vella has not entirely been upfront with us with how many faves we get, or I don't see anything in the reports that tell me how many we actually are getting. All we have is like a ranking, and actually that's something I probably should have added, is the ranking, but maybe in the next update we'll do that. But for now, I've replaced it with follows because that's something we can track, and if you looked at my reports earlier, you'll see that I had 1 follow. So for now, let's assume that I got the 1, and if you notice, if you watch this little line down here, when I hit enter, you'll see that change to record the titles over here. So this is the only user input number on this entire section here. You'll notice that all the rest of them are the red numbers, which is code for do not touch, because they're part of the formula. We'll put that back. But that's one way you can also see who your favorite or who your top books are, because obviously if your other books have a higher number than this one has, then a different window will pop up. So once again, this window is the report for all of your books, not just the one on this page. In theory, actually though, total reviews and total stars is based on this book. So it's going to be a little messy for this beta. Again, the next one, I'm going to clean it up a little bit so that there's no confusion about which one is global and which one is local to the book. But for now, just recognize that these 3 up here are based on the book, and everything down here is based on the global. All right, so speaking of this book, you'll notice that I have a section now for total reviews and total stars. So what that does is if you go over here into this new tab called Story Reviews, this gives you a place to actually input the reviews that people wrote about your story. So let's say, for example, you found a review that says, Bob Honey do stuff to this book, and he like bodacious broccoli, like Poseidon, or like turgid torpedo in Poseidon's posterior porthole. And then that's the review. It's not a very good one, but you know, you can't fault Sean Penn for everything. And then over here for book 1 star rating, let's say, you know, Sean Penn gave your book 3 stars. So now you have a 3-star rating for that book. But let's say down here, you got another review, love it, kinda. You know, nothing great, it's not even punctuated, that's okay. But they gave it a 4-star. And actually, I don't know if you can do 4.5 on Amazon. So if you get a 4.5, you do have the ability to write that in. But for now, you have a 3-star and a 4-star to review. So if we go back to book 1, you'll see that's populated with 2 and 7. Now, this may seem a little weird to you because, you know, the 2, 7, it counts your reviews, whatever here, to total stars. Well, I don't really want total stars. I want to know what my average is. Well, good news is you have that way over here in this corner. So average star rating 3.50 is your total for across all your books so far. I thought originally I had the average in this corner, but I figured for consistency of total values, I'll just allow you to track how many stars you actually got across all users. Only because, you know, no one ever does it, and figure it might be nice to have. I don't know if it's a good addition, but you can tell me if you like it or not. But anyway, it's there. It's out of the way if you don't like it. But you do have the place to go check your average stars if you do want to keep up with that. One thing Amazon acknowledges in its terms when you look at the reviews, the section where the stars are calculated, there's other parameters that go in other than just averages. They do factor in things like popularity and all of that. We're not going to have that on the spreadsheet. I don't know what their algorithm is, so I can't possibly reproduce it. So for now, your average star on this page is going to be based strictly on star averages. It may not have anything to do with Amazon's actual way of calculating ratings, so you will likely see inconsistency between your star rating and theirs, but you know what, it's fine. You know, if there's ever a time that we've figured out what that is, I might update it to have a new parameter, but because I don't know what that is, it's going to be just this. But that's good enough. The other thing you'll notice down here in the bottom corner is the most reviewed and best reviewed. So again, this is going to be a factor of, if you go back to the review sections here, you have reviews for, or sections for up to 5 books so far, and there will be more in the future of beta. But obviously, if you have more reviews for book 2 than you do for book 1, then this section is going to tell you which book has more. So this whole section, again, it's going to be dynamic based on what your inputs are. But that's the review section. You do have the ability to add what they want. And again, if you right now I've only formatted up to the first few because if I go down the entire line, it's ugly as crap. But if you want to add more, all you got to do is just click drag or click the sections and then drag it down, so that you can be able to keep the formatting for the future lines. I don't know if or when I'll get reviews. If you've noticed at the beginning, I don't really have a lot of attention on my book, even though I've been putting YouTube videos based on it everywhere. It just doesn't seem like it's getting a lot of reads. So I'm sure that's the case for a lot of people. You'll notice over here is the faves report. So if you do like the faves section that we had before, it's not gone, it's just in a new place. So if you go to the faves report, this is where you can just update how many faves you got. Ideally, you'll do it by month. So if your faves for, let's say in July, we'll just say July 2021, it's going to automatically go on. Let's say you got faved for July, then just go ahead and put 1. If for any reason you know your number, go ahead and put that in here. You can do that. That's, I don't know how else to really claim that, because I don't know what it's like to actually get faves, and I'm not sure I will know, because if you noticed, again, I've had 9 reads across all my episodes. But hopefully you found out how the faves work, and you can sure tell me how it works. If you're one of the lucky ones to get it, you can tell me if this value if it does count, or if you just need to put 1. But if you go back, you'll notice that there is a section for faves here, times fave over here. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other stuff. This whole section is like it was in beta 2, so none of this is new. You've seen all this before. What's new is the section for returns. If you come down to the middle page here, you'll see I've added a column for returns. Kindle Vella, they did not tell us prior to release that they were going to be able to accept returnable episodes, or at least nothing that they've strictly publicized. And so we certainly didn't realize that we would have a category for returns. But now that we know, I thought, well, I better add that in. So you do have a place for returns. If you're unfortunate enough to get that, you do have a category now, more of the positive. If you don't have any returns, you get the none nice job, and everyone likes it. But obviously, if you do get a return on episode 4, maybe you have 3 returns, then you'll see that that 2 updates like the old ones do. Now, another thing you'll just notice is a section for potential money lost. So this is going to be a factor if you have returns. So let's say, let's go ahead and put some values in. Let's say every episode averages, let's say 3,000, 3,500, 2,500, let's say 1,500, and then we'll do a 4,000 word story. Okay. And then let's say we have 8 times read here, we have 7, got a little bit of diminishing returns once we get to the paid stuff, and then everyone decides that they just don't want to spend the money anymore because they'd rather go buy bubble gum. So obviously that number is going to go down. Then we have times like maybe 2 people liked your first episode, maybe 1 person liked your second, and then we'll say they liked your third, but then no one likes your 4th or 5th because now they have to pay for it, and then no one's going to return the freebies. I'm not even sure that's possible, but we'll assume that we have 2 people returning your 5th episode and 3 people returning 5. So you basically have 2 people have kept the payments on your episodes 4 or 5. Yeah, it's depressing, but it's Amazon. It's here we go. I mean, Kindle Vella is live, and you're going to see this kind of thing. So what you're going to notice now is you have a section for estimated losses based on those returns. So if we have 29 readers, 4 likes, 5 returns, we're actually down to 24 readers now. So the formula does account for the readers left over when it does your math. So right now, this is your realistic average based on the readers that didn't sell your book or return your book. But you'll notice that just based on returns alone, we've got 59 cents out of, well, actually we don't have a cost yet. What would be, let's see, how many did we determine? Let's go look at the quick values here just to see what the average should be. So potential read-through is about 35 cents for that amount, and then we have, so it's about 70 cents each. So we should expect a sales of 70 cents based on the people who actually read the book. So let's go ahead and type in 70 as if that's what we're going to earn. And if we go back to the main page here, now we have an accurate account of how many we've probably lost. So that's a significant amount that we've lost, 59 cents. We've earned 70, but we could have earned a lot more. So over here we have, is that populating correctly? Yeah, so this is your average per reader. This is the potential read-through. So this is about what you would expect. This is what you've earned. But if we didn't have the losses, let's say people actually kept your book, you should have a much better royalty now. Yeah, so now we're only losing 7 cents based off of the difference, which, again, we're going to have more accurate counting. I'm just guessing right now. I don't have a number to work off of, so I'm not sure if the math adds up based on my example, but once you get your reports, you should have a better idea of what how everything's actually stacking up. So it is one of those things where you just have to use it and make sure that it's working. If I ever get a sale and I see that it's not working, then I'll update it for the future beta. But I believe I've done a lot of error checking, so I believe it should stack up. So the other thing you may have noticed here is this potential free tokens used. So what that means is if your actual sales does not measure up to what your potential is based on the averages, and it's going to be based off of the tier 1 price, because the tier 1 price, I believe, is where the free tokens are going to come out of. That's because readers can get 200 free tokens. This spreadsheet does attempt to guess how many free tokens are used on your episodes based on the difference between what you earn and what you should have earned. So right now, based off this amount, we're assuming that 15 free tokens were used on our paid episodes. And again, that'll make more sense once you go and use it for actual practice. As an example, I don't know if we have for fully lined up, but that's essentially how it works. So now let me go ahead and put those losses back in. I want to show you one more thing here. What we say it was 4 and 2, or no, 3 and 2. If you come over to our graphs, you'll see that down here I have a new section for the returns. So the greens here are for those who read it, the light green is for those who returned it. So right now, episode 5 is not doing very well, according to our example here. So that's unfortunate. And of course, down here, we have our likes, which no one apparently likes our 4th and 5th episodes. It's a shame. And the other new thing you'll see is the graph on expected losses by average. This is just another kind of estimation chart where you can see what the trends are. There's nothing really to gain from this section over here other than just to see what your averages are based on how many people have actually read it. But it's just there to help with the calculations, but you can see how it breaks down if you want by checking that page. Okay, so that I think is everything that's important for this update. Then the other thing too is this historical data chart. This is really for you. There's nothing that you have to do here. This is if you decide that you want to keep specific data ranges independent of Vella's own reporting, you can do that here. But it's not formatted. It's not attached to any formula. Everything you do here, it's going to be strictly on you. You may have to. Oh, you know what? I probably should have double-checked the format. You'll probably have to reformat this. Sorry, I thought I had formatted that already. It'll be done for the 4th one. But yeah, this is just really, this is user input. You don't have to use this. It's not going to affect anything on the main pages, whether you do or don't. This is really only here for you to have extra control over your data. But it is what it is. So that's beta 3 right now. There's other sections you may notice here in the corner, but these are still being worked on. Just so you know it's coming in a future beta. We have book comparisons. This is where all my global stuff will go, so you don't have all that clutter anymore. Story view is going to be a beta 5 feature where we can track our characters and whatnot in the research elements. This is something you can use now if you want. I don't have a plan for this yet. It's just there for the future, but this is going to be where we can compare how we're doing to other writers. Again, I don't have a plan in place at this point, so I don't know what this is going to be. But if you have one, feel free to do this page however you want. You can customize it to your own liking, and that's fine. And then calculations, this is where all the new stuff is. Again, if you want to update your limits before I get around to it myself, all you got to do is just check the ranges. All these sections over here affect graphs, and then except I think episode tokens, I believe, affects the main page. This is how you estimate how many tokens are being used for free on you. Once you get down in this section over here, then you're going to get more into the actual data effects. The only thing you have to remember is if you need to update anything, just drag down number 128 to make sure you know what the name is. If you have to ever go beyond that, this is where you can see what it's called. If you ever need to update the ranges, this is how you check the name. You may also want to check for the ones that go up to 34. There's a few of them that are limited that way. But I put a note to remind you up here in the corner. If you read this line, it'll tell you to check the name manager based on those ranges. So that's if you want to go skip ahead before I get there. But if you'd rather wait, beta 4 will come with 60 episodes. I've already started on it. I would have released it with this episode, but it was a lot of work just to do the first book. So I thought, well, let me just take my time and then I'll get it out to you guys soon. But anyway, so we're at. So hope you get a use out of this new update, and let me know what you think. If you could like and subscribe, do all the things YouTube has decided to do. Comment if you've decided to use this beta, or if you have suggestions on how I can improve it for a future one. Again, you don't need to tell me about the global stuff. I am going to be updating that for the next one. So this is probably going to be a little nicer to look at in the future. But if there's something else here that you want that you don't have that I can do, let me know, and I'll see what I can handle. So until then, hope you enjoy it, and have a good day, and hope your Vellas are prosperous and readers are coming to you. And if you'd like to read mine, I appreciate it, because I put a lot of work into it, but I'm sure you put a lot of work in yours too. So we'll well wish everyone around. So anyway, take care, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.